Joyful Danish. Stay human. Is it even still possible to stay human? Maybe. It's not too late. Right. So, welcome to Joyful Danish podcast. Podcast about how to stay human in tech. And that seems definitely to be a topic that's usually not really that much focused on, especially not web3. So even though it can be both for web2 interested people, but I feel like that it seems like web3 doesn't really get that much of attention. So that's also why I decided to make this podcast. And sometime I'm lucky enough to actually meet some interesting people. And then we can talk about these things, right? Because often it's a little bit of a taboo, in my observation, that how do we take care of ourselves, How do we stay human? With all this technology around us, if it's either Web 2 or Web 3, it doesn't really matter. It's tech all around. And this guy that I met is a pretty interesting guy, actually. You describe yourself as a mental recalibrator for decision makers, that drowning in noise. Where does this come from, this catchy sentence? Is there a certain observation or...
It was really just a bit of a marketing activity for me. I had to rewrite. So I'm a guided meditation facilitator. I work with a whole host of people. My efforts have been targeted though at decision makers that are drowning in noise, because a lot of people, especially higher up in our society, people making decisions on behalf of hundreds, thousands, millions of other people, are often not thinking clearly because of the stresses that life gives them. And I really wanted to try and get to the essence of the value, or what would be valuable to the person I'm trying to deliver the service to. Those are the people that I like to work with, and I've seen kind of great impact, especially at that from people who know how to get something done. Because this is, I feel like there's a bit of a misconception around specifically any meditation or mental work, that because it's in your head, nothing needs to be done. But it's, you don't go to the gym once, lift a weight, and then that's it. You're fit. You have to keep going back and to go again and again, and put the reps in, and that's how you see change. So how did I was just playing around with different ideas of what might resonate. And out of the 5 options or something that I ended up with at the end of the day, that's the one I like the most.
Yeah, because one of the things I really found interesting when we talked and I met you was like that you said you actually did customized meditations for example, people as a CEOs in Web3. How
I
did that even
absolutely.
start? How did that even begin?
So wow, how did that begin, huh?
As a coincidence, or like as a
Yeah,
deliberate thing you did for friends or by your own
as a set of
amusement?
coincidences. It was just a set of coincidences. I mean, I started meditating 11 or so years ago now, and that was before I knew anything about crypto. I've always liked technology, but I've never been focused on the industry in such a way. And then at some point, I did my research, learned more, got involved with the global community, and I just saw that overlap. Yeah, just people needed what I could do.
And what would you say that is like when people ask you, yeah, but it's still meditation, isn't it? And what's the difference? And what, I mean,
I mean, it's a customized experience. You have an apps on your phone for anything that you want, but they're made for everybody. If you're struggling with like relaxation and it's there's nothing deeper than that, you really just replace your drink with a after work with a 15-minute video, and like you're good to go. But a lot of the time it's not just about the meditation, it's about the introspection that happens before it. It's the way, like how I go about customizing the meditation requires a honest introspection from the person. If someone's lying to me, they're not going to get anything. If I walk into the gym and I tell the personal trainer that there's nothing wrong, I don't need any help with anything, yeah, I'll pay him for an hour to sit there and watch me exercise. Of course, I'm not going to get anything out of the situation. Um, so 20% of the value is the meditation itself. 80% of the value is the conversation about what the meditation should be. what a person's individual blocks are, not just what their goals are, what their personal histories are, things that they've tried before, what actually fits the values that they want to live by. Otherwise, it's just I can send you a recording, press play on the YouTube video, and see ya.
I see. Um, but you started this with yourself, like did
Yeah,
you make customized meditations for yourself
I did.
first in order to as a
I
was that yeah you did.
I did, yeah. At some point, I started looking for meditations on YouTube after I had gone through all the content that exists that is applicable. It's one thing because everything does exist, but the challenge is finding what's right for you. And as soon as I exhausted the resources of what I could find that's right for me, I just started making them myself because I couldn't find it otherwise.
And was there a certain effect or a certain observation you did where you could see, yes, this is the effect I wanted, and I wished the normal meditation resources could do, but didn't in your case?
Well, yes and no. I mean, normal meditation resources can deliver that if it happens to be what I needed. There was certainly a time where just the generic resource was exactly what I needed, and there was more that I had to do before I got to that point. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had powerful experiences that I've induced myself because I know I like to think I'm honest with myself, that I'm not deluding myself intentionally. And when I really got to the emotional core of what I'd been intellectualizing, like yeah, of course, and an experience like that, there's nothing on YouTube that would have created that experience, you know?
Because I'm just curious, like I also done meditation, but it's usually been much more simpler way that I I could see that it fairly quickly actually just was this being still, you know, even though that's the whole purpose. I get it. For most people, that's not really easy to do, but somehow I just kind of forced myself to do it. Like as a this is actually what I often did when I started to like do it more frequently was
Mm.
simply just to close my eyes and then I will see that suddenly this round ball in the middle, yellow ball in the middle here,
Yeah.
will appear, and then I'll like focus on that, and then sometimes, and I don't know what's happening there actually, but it could provoke a light headache for
Mm.
maybe maximum a minute, and I'm not sure, but this is just my own philosophy about what might could have been happening because I was starting to think like, is this just my ego trying to play games with me? Because I could see that maximum for 1 minute it will try to maybe increase the intensity of the sudden headache, which I
Mm.
normally never experience or have any. I never really experienced this. Why suddenly during a meditation where okay, we're not thinking about any thoughts, we're just here focusing on this yellow ball or point, and the more I could do that, the easier it actually was to just be there, be still. And then sometimes I had this sense that maybe some other sides of me didn't wanted that and tried to get out of that, because then I could see within again maximum 1 minute if I could last that, keep pointing the focus at this yellow point, the headache will slowly disappear as a balloon, you know, it will burst. And
Um,
slowly, when that finally disappeared, I was there. I could just maintain the focus here, and now I was still. I don't know. What
that
do you think
sounds.
about that?
I was gonna ask where you felt the headache to kind of to get a sense of what type of headache it was, and then you said that last part, and so meditation is an exercise of focus and training your brain. That's the muscle, is you're training yourself not to be distracted by every thought and to focus on a single point. That is a form of exercise, and it can hurt. You can absolutely strain your focus muscle. Yeah, that happens. The same thing. There's a connection, obviously, between body and mind, and the eyes are the organ that are connected to the idea of focusing in your mind. So even with your eyes closed, your eyes might still be trying to focus on something because your brain hasn't disconnected that signal, and you could be straining your eyes with your eyes closed. That's also a possibility. There's the question of attention. If it was kind of like a subtle pang somewhere in your head, and you weren't really paying attention to it for one reason or another, and all of a sudden you're paying attention to it, you're going to notice it a lot more.
It usually started as a subtle plane, but it will usually increase quite fast. But then again, maximum 1 minute, it will vanish, and then I could continue just focus on this, and then I was already in the zone, sort of. Um, but I'm just thinking, like, for the audience that may be thinking about this, like, yeah, but am I doing it right? And what form of meditation are there any form that are better than others? And is it hard to do it? Because I mean, for example, before that, starting the meditation practice, I started to do. I often just went to the nature,
Hmm.
like grounding. So just walking in nature, or in forest, or at the beach, or just looking at the sunset, and
Yeah.
that could have similar effects
It
for
does.
me.
Those are meditative experiences. You're silencing the noise of the mind, and you're connecting with your body and the world around you and being fully present to the moment as it is. That's the exercise. A lot of people
Yeah, because
find their
yeah.
peace like while they're running, while they're walking in nature, because they have the same physiological effects on the body and the brain. Regulating heart rate, for example, has a huge effect on your mental state. If you ever find yourself scared or anxious, if you check in, you might find you've been holding your breath for 30 seconds and you didn't notice.
So would you say there are certain things that you observe that people maybe not doing wrong, but maybe a little bit not supporting themselves in trying to meditate?
So I want to start by saying there's no wrong way. There's just trying, try coming back to the breath. That's it. There's no wrong way. There's no failure. The practice is just coming back over and over again, and it's unreasonable. The lifelong monks, the gurus would agree. It's unreasonable to expect yourself to be in that state 24/7. Uh, Maybe for some of them that is the goal, but yeah, it's a journey, you know. So there's certainly no wrong way. It doesn't. You don't need to sit. I tell people to. The important part is that people are engaging with this practice, whatever that looks like for them. For some people, introspection is not the name of the game. The goal is to deconstruct, or at least my goal with this, with my methodology and my practice, my goal is to deconstruct the worldview and inspect the relationship between that worldview and our emotions, because our quality of life is usually dictated by that combination, how we see things and how we feel about how we see things. So that's my approach, and it's a very cognitive approach. It's can be very heavy. It requires thinking. But the goal is to process and digest, and that's useful in that form to a lot of people. But the other side of that is learning to regulate your physiology, which in turn regulates your emotions. And if going for a run does that for you, and sitting and thinking about it doesn't, don't sit and meditate. Run. Uh, do what's right for you. Listen to your body. Listen to your mind. Try different things. You never know what might work really well. You never know what when you layer two different practices together, it could completely just unlock something completely new for you. So try a bunch of stuff. Usually there's a little saying, you should try everything 3 times. Once to get over the fear of doing it, once to learn how to do it, and then once to see if you actually like it.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and this method you're talking about is the centipede code,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes. So the centipede code is a fun branding term. I mean, so in Buddhist mysticism, one of the deities is Avalokiteshvara. And one day he's on Earth. He sees a centipede walking by with all of its legs in a row, and he distracts that centipede, and he tells that centipede, he asks the centipede, "How do you know all of your legs are in the right place? Or you're not paying attention? Are you paying attention to every leg as you're walking?" And the centipede says, "No." But then as soon as the centipede starts trying to think about which leg has to go where, all of a sudden it can't walk anymore. So being kind of at that intersection of we're not centipedes, we're humans. So being at that intersection of intention and intuition, guiding ourselves in the right direction, making sure our methodology is sound, but getting enough out of our own ways that we allow the automatic processes that we are either born with or spent the time to develop can do what they're meant to do, and we're not tripping over ourselves. So that methodology is that I apply goes beyond the centipede code. It's a fun story. So I studied philosophy, engineering, psychology, literature. I was a copywriter in the health and wellness space. I've studied a lot of biology, especially growing up. My family business and all that. So I had this really kind of unique intersection. And at some point, my journey started 11 or 12 years ago now. At some point, I really figured things out. Just between all of the different schools of thought that I'd been coming from, a lot had kind of come together of all of the systems of a human that are either aligned or misaligned. And I started writing about that and trying to break down what those all are and what the meditations for that series would look like. Because if I can create that series and I can give it to anybody, it would work. It would orient and align all of those different systems within the person. So I started creating that methodology, and the book is like half written. At some point, I found a practitioner based in the United States who had the same idea. She'd come from her background as a coach, as a therapist, and as a hypnosis practitioner, and as a meditator. So she actually developed the same. She developed the system that I had in mind. She had the same philosophical approach that I had. Uh,
Really?
she developed meditations that follow the series that I had myself described and was still figuring out. So crazy. So I ended up taking that program. It's International Meditation Alliance certified and World Coaching Federation certified. So it's accredited training. So it's really fun to know that this philosophical system I envisioned, I was onto something. I kind of knew I was, and hey, I'm onto something. Um, what was the question again? My methodology. Yeah. So the methodology takes several approaches. To say it's meditation doesn't really fully cover what it is. It kind of cherry picks from different methodologies and blends them all together into just a really unique experience. So the meditation portion is just mindfulness and breath work and managing your physiology. If you can control your breath, you can control your reality. So that's the meditation part of that. There's the coaching aspect of it, which applies in the conversation before the meditation, where I figure out where you are in your life, where you're trying to be, where you're having trouble, or just helping people figure out what it is they want. Because there's a lot of people who've never sat down and truly considered what a good life looks like to them.
Right.
So there's the coaching aspect to that as well, right? That's the yeah, big part of that as well. And then there's the hypnotic element aspect of it, where in a hypnotic, and I don't, it's not like show hypnosis where I can make you quack like a duck and then you don't remember when you wake up. But hypnosis in the sense that we put the body to sleep and we keep the mind awake. So effectively, we're putting the mind into the hypnagogic state, which is right in between sleep and wakefulness. If anyone who has trouble staying asleep at night, or who some maybe might wake up at like 3 in the morning, this is the state that you're in when you wake up and everything feels a little surreal. So in that state of mind, the conscious mind's defenses, the ego is off for the most part, and as the practitioner, I'm engaging directly with the person's subconscious mind, and that's where I can seed the ideas that they have given me in our conversation. That's what makes the meditation custom, is that I take what we've told and I plant it directly into your subconscious mind, rather than sitting and talking about it week over week over week over week.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
interesting.
the methodology kind of wrapped in big words.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how sometimes, as I usually always start from one's own journey, isn't it? Struggle and whatnot, and then you look into different aspects, and then something comes out of it, you know?
We find some truth and we recognize that truth has a place in the broader world.
Yeah, indeed. What is something you found or began doing recently that is having a positive effect in your life?
So for me, I have done a lot of the spiritual and emotional work. And this chapter of my life is dedicated really to just getting shit done, you know? At a different point in my life, that was really easy. I could just turn myself off, become numb to the reality. And I've had weeks where I've worked like 18 hours a day, 6 days a week. Yeah, it's not good. It's not healthy. It's not fun. It's not pleasant. It frankly wasn't very rewarding either. So for me right now, I'm focused a lot on how to get things done, how to control my own ADHD brain and make sure that I actually get things done. Otherwise, I don't have a manager. I don't have a boss. No one tells me what to do. I'm accountable to myself. If I make things happen, things happen. If I don't, things don't. So what I found super useful is at the end of every day or every night or whatever, to just write down three things that I want to do tomorrow. This could be big goals, this could be little tasks, just three things that I want to accomplish tomorrow. That's it. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depends on the actual topic of the thing, but that gives me something to orient myself to first thing in the morning. Otherwise, you wake up with a fresh mind, fresh consciousness, and I find myself sitting around going, okay, so what do I do today? Here's a million things that I have to do. What do I do today? Uh, so just
Right.
by every night writing down the three main things I need to do first thing tomorrow morning helps keep me focused. And then there are days I finish those three things before noon, and then I can sit there and go, okay, well, what do I do now? And that's okay. And then there's other times it's like that just keeps me on track, working towards a bigger goal and making sure that I don't get distracted and leave something for months that could have been done in a few days.
Yeah, that's a good point. And is it deliberately as the day before, so your subconscious can work on that at night, and then in the morning you kind of already have some ideas on how you can get it done, or the
Sometimes
focus
you
is there?
when
Yeah.
that's the task, sure. Lately, a lot of my work has been chasing paperwork from from third parties. So a lot of there's not a whole lot of process. It's just like I need to wake up. I need to remember that these are the five things I need to email here. These are the three things I need to get from there. But at night, it's just because it's fresh in my head from that day. Another productivity kind of secret uh, trick, I guess I should say, not really a secret, is if you're writing something really long, you should not end your day. So, for example, if I'm writing a book, when I stop writing for the day, I should not start. I should not stop at the end of a thought. I should stop writing in the middle of a thought, so that when I come back, I know exactly where to pick up, and there's none of that fresh. Okay, what's this going to be about? It's just I stopped in the middle of a sentence here. I know exactly what I need to do to start, and once you start, you can keep going.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, for example, one of the things, because it can also be small things, practical stuff that you maybe have been doing recently that had a positive effect in your life. I for example, just started implementing kimchi. You
Yeah,
know, the South Korean fermented food.
love kimchi.
There's also sauerkraut, is more German version, but it's not so much. I like the spices, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
characteristic of the South Korean version. So start buying that and just add a little bit to some food I already eat, um, because it just has so many gut effects on your system, and your immune system and whatnot. Like it's crazy how many benefits it actually has.
Yeah, truly.
Um,
But you're saying that you don't just eat it as is out of the jar? Because I like to just eat kimchi as is out of the jar.
yeah, some people can do that, of course. Well, as the recent one bottle I bought was with red kale
Mm.
only, and it was only because that they didn't have the regular one that I usually buy that is with carrots and onions and some other stuff. I
Okay.
kind of like that. That I could better eat raw if I wanted to. but with the red kale, because it's very salty. It's
Mm.
fermented vegetables in a salty bottle.
Yeah.
So yeah, alone, it's not as tasty, interesting as the other one is. So now I usually eat it then with some couscous and some fried rice and fried tuna and whatnot, and then I add it on the top because apparently um, it's a good thing to actually eat it as some of the first things because then it can
Oh.
start to get to work in your digestion system right away.
Mhm.
So
Otherwise, it's
it's
got to
usually on
like
top.
it gets processed with all the starch and all the carbs. It just takes longer to get into your
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah, so if you want the effect faster, simply eat it as the first thing, or close as one of the first thing.
I mean, I can
Um,
think of more direct ways, but they're inappropriate for this medium.
I see. All right, that's a bonus episode after these commercials. Stay
Exactly.
tuned.
Check the links in the description. Make sure you subscribe to find out what it is.
Oh yeah, why we actually say this? Your link to how to connect you and this method you made are going to be in the show notes below. So just to throw that out there. But it's called Peaceful Ventures,
Hmm. That's the
right?
website,
Right,
peaceful.ventures.
right.
Guys, I offer on, I'll probably throw my Calendly link is there in there as well. I offer complimentary clarity calls. I just want to get people to start thinking about what is best for them and what works for them. These are no charge, they're no commitment, they're totally for you. I love seeing the look on people's faces when something clicks, when they finally realize like, oh yeah, it's been this the whole time.
Yeah,
It's always fun
that
for me.
is.
So please check out my Calendly. Get to that. I don't mind at all.
Yeah, because the clarity call is free, correct? So and it's online, so it's very easy to try it out. Have a conversation because again, people buy you first of all. No matter what the product is. So, and that's also why I wanted to talk to you because you're just an interesting guy. So yeah,
Well, hey, you
and
too.
as
If
a
you weren't, I wouldn't come back.
yeah, true. Uh, do you have something you're actively working on in terms of health and overall wellness that you would like to share as something that works, or you're testing, or you found out that it's difficult to integrate maybe a little bit?
What I'm testing right now, uh, I perform my intake sessions on myself as well to create meditations for myself. Um, I'm still testing whether I prefer to listen to those recordings in the morning or at night. And I've noted I have schedule resistance to doing either time. There's benefits to do, there's pros and cons to both, obviously. There's different resistances to both, obviously. And right now I'm just seeing which one actually works better for me, which one kind of makes it easier to really integrate the internal changes that I'm trying to facilitate. So that's something I'm testing. Something I'm trying now is still trying to quit smoking. Started when I was 18, and here we are.
It was how old are you now? Today?
Uh,
Is it
Today I'm
a
31. Sorry,
31?
31 this year.
Uh, Time flies. Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah.
And how long have you been in the Web3 or tech business?
Uh,
You would say.
20. I mean, I've always been interested in tech. I remember
Yeah.
2007, the first iPhone was revealed, and every kid in my school switched from a BlackBerry to an iPhone overnight, and like I knew immediately this is the future. I knew what every computer in school is going to look like from now on. I had that sense immediately. And back then, you didn't have much freedom with what you do with your iPhone. So I took the jailbreaking. I jailbroke my iPhone. I put a Game Boy emulator on there. I had a bunch of games on there. I was customizing things. So I was doing that I was charging $20 a phone, in middle school. Yeah, if anyone wants to play Pokemon on their phone, you come see me and I'll get that done. I've always liked tech. I've always liked, tinkering with that sort of stuff. But I had never been interested in finance, like ever. Um, and then 2020, the pandemic rolled around. That's when I first found. I mean, I've known about Bitcoin since 2010. Me and my friends have known about it since high school. We just didn't bother understanding it.
And how
uh,
did you knew about it? Like,
I don't know. Well, to buy drugs. That's Silk Road existed, right? So
Right.
someone's older brother was always trying to buy something. So
Mm.
we knew about Bitcoin just through Silk Road, and yeah, that's it. And it was either like Silk Road or talk to your friend's brother for whatever reason. Yeah. So I've known about it this whole time. I wasn't paying attention until 2017 rolled around. Bitcoin first hit 20K, and I remember one of my roommates at the time was working in finance, and he told me that when we were living together, he mentioned that he was mining Bitcoin since like 2009 or 10 or 11 or something, and so Bitcoin hit 20K, and he was the first person I thought of. So
Wow.
don't know what he's up to these days, but I'm sure he's having a good time. Yeah,
Playing Pokemon.
it is right. Hanging out on a beach playing Pokemon. Uh, there's the meaning of life right
On a
there.
jailbreak iPhone
Exactly
16.
on the first iPhone.
Yeah, 3GS. Yeah.
um, yeah.
But what got you interested then eventually into the Web3?
So the pandemic rolled around, and then I started I was paid not to go to work for a few months by the government of Canada, and during that time, that's when I started buying some stocks. Everything went down aggressively. I've been wanting to buy Apple stock since 2007, so I thought here's a good opportunity. Um, then I got the stocks I wanted to get, got bored of that game, and read about the Bitcoin halving on somewhere, and remembered like I know what Bitcoin is. What's this halving nonsense? Maybe I'd like to buy some Bitcoin. So I went and I read the white paper, and here we are. Yeah, and just watched every YouTube video, joined every community. Yeah, experimented with the technology, fucked around, and found out.
And it's really a rabbit hole, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Um, like as a what have you observed in particular in Web3 that is like causing stress and like uh,
Um, Well, I mean the thesis in part. Like I had reading the Bitcoin white paper, I had the same feeling as when I saw the iPhone in 2007. With enough understanding of the technology and the existing system, I read that and you immediately like this is it. This is going to be what everything looks like for the next 30 years because what exists right now is just not not viable for the long-term sustainability of any sort of civilization. Um, I think that a lot of, I guess, founders in particular, like the driven, mission focused people, um, can sometimes take too much responsibility for that new world. Like they literally put the world on their shoulders, and they say, if I don't make this happen by Q4 of this year, the world society is going to collapse, and the world is going to end, and we're all going to live in a Mad Max dystopia if I'm not working 20 hours a day. So I've definitely noticed that mindset a couple of times. It's rare. It's probably more common than I'm giving it credit for. But I've definitely seen that more than once. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point. Um, but when you see like then overall as a overlooked area in tech in general, when it comes to health and well-being, what have you observed is at play there?
Well, so Web3 is definitely different than Web2.
Yeah,
Maybe it's because the industry is so new, but the average person here doesn't have a family to support, is not in their late 50s, is not really thinking about retirement. They don't care, frankly, about their weekends a lot of the time. Um, this is their life, and this is it's obsession. It's an obsession. Healthy, unhealthy is not for me to say.
it's almost a religion, right?
Exactly.
A
And so I
cult,
think
you
that's
might
like
say.
the average demographic. So the problems are not the same. The audience is not the same. The solution is not the same. In Web 2, we can spin together like a meditation wellness program for corporate. It's the same personalization and customization approach, just taken to a company, applied to a company instead of to a person. It's a little more. It's not as simple as that, but that's kind of in a nutshell. And then every
Yeah.
employee is obligated to listen to the thing once a week. They'll listen to it as a groupers, and that does the wellness thing. But in Web3, people like some people will burn themselves out. Like they will like I've seen coders that literally 7 days a week, they're spending at least 12 hours a day, 7 days a week building whatever they're building. Um, and to them it's not a problem. Like they're making this decision for themselves. We don't have the same entrenched bureaucracies that kind of keep people compliance with whatever employee document they were given when they were hired. People are free to kind of live however they want to live, and obviously they're incentivized to give to double down on that obsession and give everything to the company. um, yeah, so it's well, sorry. What was your question again? I went on a bit of a tangent in my head.
So, like overall in tech, what do you observe there is the main cause of stress in your observation
Hmm.
compared to the crypto space?
Yeah, it's definitely more self what's the word I'm looking for?
Inflicted?
Self-inflicted. There you go.
Right.
But at the same time, there's more opportunity because there's a greater sense of community. I definitely feel, and people find themselves in the same boat. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good point. I mean, that's also why I made decided to make the book that I use with my clients, the Crypto People's Health Playbook, where I actually mapped out the different stress signs from clients and my own experience and so on.
Mhm.
And it's kind of an eye opener, because I made it like both in a bear market and in a bull market, physical, psychological, and behavioral stress signs,
Yeah, of
and then
course.
go deeper into like each one then when we had decided together which one we choose the menu together, which one is relatable to you, and then we
Mhm.
can dive into like, okay, what is possible contribution factors and what could we potentially do as interventions. So I kind of customized the exercises from there.
Yeah, that's
But it
really
was
good.
also kind of, I mean, I've been surprised also for myself because as a as you say, it's mainly a one man army kind of mentality with a weird football mentality slash cult slash religion mindset, and nobody trusts each other, but we still everyone is together. It's so weird. It's so paradoxical in many ways, and it's so volatile. Also health wise,
It's
and
honestly
people, yeah,
sorry. It
it's
reminds me a little
okay.
bit of like zombie survival shows where, yeah, this is your community and you're all surviving together, but you don't really trust anybody.
That's maybe a really good picture. Yeah,
Like
it's
you're
maybe
you're
more
connected.
relatable than more people think.
You're in each other's proximities, but you're certainly not together.
Yeah, because again, nobody can trust anybody really, because there's so many scams, there's so many traps, right?
I mean,
And
even
when you
ship.
can be your own enemy as well,
Yeah.
because you put yourself in so much volatility and stress, and as you say, developers working 7 days a week, that's of course going to lead to a burnout eventually,
Hmm.
if not more.
You tie that in
Um,
with the isolation as well.
yeah, and again, it's also, in my experience, mainly people who never really considered therapy or self reflecting in any way. Suddenly, they see themselves in this situation. They don't know actually what led them to this situation. They can just see that, I have hard time focusing now. I sleep bad. I just don't feel
Yeah.
good, but I don't know what's caused it, and it just seems like so much is invisible. Like I
Mhm.
met a guy who said it pretty goodly, that it's invisible enemies, and it really is, like how you can kind of become your own self worst enemy and not really an ally. The way you self talk to yourself and what you're doing, and you're not really giving yourself a proper nourishing environment. You're eating poorly, you're sitting poorly, you're having all these crappy memes that kind of symbolizes and giving a language and a picture of this crazy, to some degree toxic environment, because everyone, so many people waiting for things to finally go green, go to the moon, but it's not. What we gonna do? When Lambo? Oh, is it McDonald's? I don't know. Oh, but I don't want to go to McDonald's again. you know? Where
Yeah.
the people who are in Web 2, right? They're already there. They're already in the corporate, They at least have some kind of frame, some kind of structure that
Hmm.
doesn't lead them out of the ramp, as a pirate boat,
Exactly. The world is not hanging on their shoulders. If they don't answer their email, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. But what would you say, just to clarify again, that for Web 2, what is the one of the main problems you have observed there instead?
I mean, the opposite. It's just the problems of callousness and indifference. A lot of people just don't care. Their job is just something they do. They don't care about it. They don't necessarily. A lot of people are. You can't blame anyone for wanting to survive either, but a lot of people put themselves are so exhausted by the time they're done with what they have to do that they don't have any time or energy left for their life, and that's burnout to a T. It's just burnout from two different angles. In Web 2, people are burned out because life has become a meaningless shell of what it used to be when they were young and fun and had vision, had dreams. And now they just show up and clock out, and then they go home and they're too tired to really like live much of a life, and they're just waiting for retirement so they can finally go do something fun. That's one end, and I'm definitely taking I'm taking the extreme. I don't think most people in Web 2 find themselves in that camp. But there's definitely a lot of people who spend 40 hours a week living a life that they're not interested in living, and depending on how you adjust your life to that and where you meet, like how you meet your human needs and where all of that is coming from, it can become a problem. There's Web 2. And then Web 3 is the opposite, where people willingly sacrifice their humanity because the obsession is comfortable. It really is. Like it's a comfortable obsession to sit and just tinker with some code all night. But like I can do the same thing with things that society might look upon less productively.
But no, I really like those points. I feel like that's a great nuance. Because as I meet a lot of people who are not in Web3 at all and look into this weird mess and jungle, what is this, And it has its own lingo, it seems to have its own world and community, but it's so bizarre in many ways, like because they start to speak in a language that you can't really relate to if you're not in it, and if you
Mhm,
haven't gone through the hardship as well,
mhm.
it almost remind me to like not that I'm an alcoholic or ever was, but it seems like the people who are in the AAAs, they
Mhm.
have a certain world that they understand,
I mean,
like
to a degree, it is like this is the technology is new enough on a societal level that the people who are here are the technologists, the speculators, and the grifters. That's all new technology. When the railroad was invented in the 1800s, the only people who cared about what was going on in the world of rail were the developers, the financiers, and the criminals. Nobody else, no one else gives a shit. And I mean that's still true today. And so when anyone looks in, like they're seeing the world that has yet to be built for them. Most people don't know how their iPhone works. Most people won't know how the blockchain works, just like they don't know about the financial rails their credit card payment goes through. That's fine. It's just they're so early to the party that the only people who are here are the ones who are obsessed. The
yeah,
financiers, the developers, and the criminals. Three very unique
the
individuals.
pirates.
Exactly.
Yeah, but maybe that's also what kind of gives the urge to maybe go into that jungle, isn't it? Maybe, or you become an explorer. You get some sense of adventure, right?
Yeah.
Everything that you don't feel like that you're probably getting in the corporate world,
Yeah.
so reliable and predictable and boring. You're slowly dying. Like, what is the Mark Twain quote? Like, some people die at 28, but first
Yeah.
get buried at 70.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
and not to give a bad picture for corporate. I mean, I'm just
Ah,
trying to get give some reasons to like why do people go in the seems like totally opposite direction, which seems to have much more dangers than anything else. Well, reminds me actually of this. Apparently, this was a true story. You know, back then when there was these sales adventures, they had to explore. I think actually it was an explorer wanting a crew, and his ad in the paper were literally like, uh, "You might get your life's biggest adventures, but might not come back. Um, Join me
So
if you
there's
want." Something
di
like that, you know.
different people want different things, have different needs. Like a friend of mine is an accountant, and I love him. He's a great guy, but he has the perfect personality to be an accountant. Um, I don't. There's some people like we can. There's always some evolutionary biology reason for everything. And for this, we could say that there needs to be society needs to be comprised of two types of people. The majority of people need to be the reliable sort, who are not interested in the adventure, who are not interested in something new, but they're interested in stability and safety. And so they're more interested, they would prefer to spend their lives uh, working with systems that have been proven, that have been developed on a civilization scale. And then there's a small subset of humans who are not risk averse in that same way, who don't care about that safety, who want to see what is on the other side of the world, who don't mind the unknown, who don't mind putting themselves into it. Like I got rugged last week. That's fine. It's fine. The risk to reward, like that's fine. I didn't even lose my life. I did not lose all of my money. I'm not in danger for all I know. Um, and so I'd put myself more on that subset that wants to see what else exists. But there is that split, and civilization needs both types of people because if everyone were the explorer and nobody was wanted that stability with their own personal lives, nothing would get built that lasts for 1,000 years. And if we don't have anyone exploring, then we would not be building anything new. We would still be, if not hunters and gatherers, a very basic agrarian species.
Yeah, it reminds me of like again, if you look into history, like when we talk about piracy, like there was actually this woman who became a pirate,
Mm-hmm.
quite influential actually. They actually got ended up having a whole organization because they became so big that they had
Oh.
so much power and influence that other pirates rather just wanted to join rather than take up the fight. Countries started to have to negotiate with them,
Yep.
but it was also a lot of hassle, and eventually it led up to like they needed to agree that okay, we're going to give you a boatload of different perks, but
Mm-hmm.
then you're ending the whole organization. This we need to end this. This is too much on society, you know. It's too chaotic. So it's going to be interesting. How do you see like what can you say, the traditional finance and the whole DeFi, if you might say, as a crypto and the normal world? Are they going to emerge and live coexist, or are one of them eventually going to be, yeah, absorbed by the other?
There are different scenarios that could play out. I try to remain agnostic as to which one I think is going to play out until I have enough evidence to suggest one or the other, without being overly cynical or overly optimistic. So there's a few different ways that could play out. And I can also tell you what I have seen playing out thus far, which is not the optimistic scenario, to be blunt. But it can go one of a few ways. So option one is traditional finance comes in and Pink Floyd said it best, welcome to the machine. What was meant to disrupt is now just another part of the show. There's option one. Um, Option two is we find out that the new world does not need that financial aspect to the world. Like it could just be such an outdated model. Like we've just invented the airplane. Why are you and 30 people taking a ship across the ocean? We have airplanes. So that's option two, where the old world is just frankly inefficient, ineffective, and it's on its way out. And then option three is some hybrid between the two. which is is for our lifespans. That's probably what it's going to be. Any sort of civilization scale change. It might take 50 years until we have this new world. It might be 500 years until we have this new world. So at least in our lifetimes, probably, um, we're going to need to have like there's going to be the need for people who already have that systems understanding of the way things work and are open enough to a new way of doing things that they can see the best ways of doing both. They can cherry pick the best of both sides, learn from each other's mistakes, and hopefully build something that is better than what everything we already have. Um, on that note, the direction I'm seeing things go in now is we're seeing uh, basically old strategies applied to a new world, which is not going to, we're just seeing the same financial shenanigans we saw in '08, we saw in the '80s, it's the same financial nonsense that's been going on forever. Now it's just a fancy new wrapper. That's it. Uh, Same shit, different package. That's what I'm seeing happen now. A lot of people that are in the space building as well, they're not necessarily interested in changing the world. They're interested in making a lot of money right now. And the simplest path to doing that would be to take a system that already works and just recreate it on chain. It's the worst use of this technology. It's like it's like attaching a car to a horse, or I don't, I'm sure a better analogy exists than that, but they're just applying the
Yeah.
same tactics to a new medium, and they're completely taking for granted what's possible because
Mm.
absolutely so much is possible, but none of it is being done because it's too experimental. Nobody wants to invest in experiments. People want to invest in revenue,
Yeah.
and the simplest way to revenue, like for example, I have a friend of mine in the space is a musician. And the whole NFT thing in 2021, a big value proposition of NFTs was the ability for artists and musicians and the like to truly own their work without the record label taking 80%. The only
50
thing, like
Cent did it. Yeah.
it's been done, but you know what else has been done? Record labels on chain. It's just a new medium. They're
Same
taking
thing.
80%. It's they're just building the same company here. They're not changing anything. Nothing's different. They're just more efficient at stealing everyone's money. That's it.
But the other option is still there, though. As
Yeah.
I'm just meaning, like, if we have to take the other side as well. Like, I saw
Mhm.
just the other day, like, that now there's even also a thing called the security concierge for crypto people. So imagine this. That was the whole point, right? With crypto, not your keys, not your coins.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to give it to a third party, now going to pay fees for them to hold
Yep.
your coins and technically also your keys, I guess.
Yep.
Then what's the point? You might as well just cash it out and put it in a bank. It will give the
Right
same,
back
and
where we
you actually
started.
probably save money on the fees.
Exactly. Right back where
Well,
you started.
because
Where
of this,
you have to
yeah,
trust them when they tell you that the Bitcoin is in the wallet. You have to trust them that it's in the wallet. Why?
exactly. Um, so yeah, we see all this mix, and again from the pictures we kind of pictured and drawn
Mhm.
before, this craziness and this jungle it is. I think it still makes a lot of people unnerving to just considering going into it. So they go in to the new world with the mindset of the old and trying to do the same things because they're used to. Well, this is the that I know that you can do in those circumstances that I can relate to. But even though this is completely new, I'm not completely open to be with it for some
Mhm.
time and explore and discover what
Mhm.
other options and action possibilities do I maybe have here. So in that way, you actually could do something new.
And we
Um,
find ourselves now in the era where the new people, where when experienced people are approaching a new technology or a new me or a new anything, um, the simplest way to do that is to see how many mental models and frameworks that you already possess apply to this new thing. That's the process of learning is matching the patterns that you understand with patterns that you don't, and either rewriting those patterns to account for this new information, or like just incorporating this new information somehow. And I mean, technology in particular, like this is a relevant conversation to AI as well. The medium is so fluid that anything is possible. And so there's no feedback to tell us that the idea that we're coming with is obsolete, effectively, because we
Right.
approach, like, there are no best practices for the most part. Everyone is really just kind of doing their best to make the most sense that they can out of the information that they have. Uh, what was your question again? I'm a
That's all
little.
good. No, no, it's all good. It's just conversation, you know. It's
Yeah.
perfect. Um, so with all this tech, how do you try to stay human in your life?
I just need to. So I'm, I guess, a unique character in this story because I'm not a developer. I don't work for a tech company, Web 2 or Web 3. I'm I'm a meditation facilitator. I don't engage with tech any more than I need to or any more than I want to. Um, Fine. Well, sometimes I'll scroll for 30 minutes too long in bed. One of the things I need to do is just leave my phone outside. But um, yeah, I'm not on my laptop all the time. Even I mean, I guess it's busy season. When it's busy season, things don't wait sometimes. Um, but to stay human, I just go talk to friends, go be out in the world, go be a human. I mean, especially like this industry really requires you to think like a computer. And when you think like something for too long, eventually you start to feel like that. And I think any human who spends too much time thinking like a computer will feel like a computer. And as a human, you don't, that's not pleasant, you know? So go be human. Go have dinner with your friends. Go for a walk. Leave your phone at home for an hour. Like, watch a show. Go look at be human. That's it. Go be human. Read a book.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
What could be one scenario where you feel like mostly human? Even though that sounds kind of very robotic to say, ask that question as well. But it's just I feel like that again. That was the whole point with this whole idea of the podcast, that I could see that maybe not now, but in the near future, this most likely could potentially be a problem, that people forget how to actually stay human. You know, how to actually not be, as you say, so robotic thinking and
Yeah.
so up in their head and totally cut out from here and down,
Hmm.
from the neck down. Um, that we have to maintain. You know, what you don't use, you lose and forget.
We also have to ask what makes someone human.
Exactly.
Is like are you familiar with the ship of Theseus?
No, please do tell.
So it's a thought experiment in an epistemic thought experiment. Basically, so you have you know Theseus the from Greek mythology.
Not sure, maybe.
Okay,
Please tell.
Theseus was a sailor in Greek mythology. So in this for this thought experiment, the ship that he sailed from Greece to go to wherever, he sailed on that ship. He brought the ship back. The ship is now in a museum. Over decades, slowly the ship starts to rot, and one plank at a time, the staff of the museum are replacing planks of Theseus's ship one at a time over and over again. Eventually, they'll get to the point where they have replaced every plank of wood that used to be the ship of Theseus. And so now do you have two ships of Theseus? Because you have one that was made out of every new plank of wood that kept getting, and then you have the model that was rebuilt using all of the old planks of wood. So which ship is the real ship? Which is Theseus's ship?
I, I would say it's the first one, isn't it? That was the
Uh,
original.
but why is it the original? We just replaced every part of the parts of the original are now missing. Some of the planks of wood have rotted beyond repair. We can't put them back. We only have the essence of Theseus's original ship. So why would it be the first one and not the second one that we so painstakingly rebuilt one plank at a time? And at what point in that transition does the new ship become the ship of Theseus? Is it after you replace the first plank of wood that it's now a new ship? Is it after the last plank of wood that it becomes a new ship? Is it somewhere in the middle?
I guess that depends on what you characterize. It's the, what can you say, the premise of what are we looking for, that is the deciding factor of, like, for example, like when people ask like, "Oh, are we humans, a body with a soul?" But what is a soul then? What is the characteristic of that? Is it
Well,
just something we say? In the Greek word soul was actually the psyche, the
mhm.
same word. So is it just the brain, or what
Oh,
is it? You
so
know. So
we can apply the same thought experiment. Let's say I chop your arm off and I give you a robotic arm. Are you still you, or are you now a robot?
well, not every plank has been replaced. I will still say I'm probably mostly me.
So, if I replace your brain with a computer, but the rest of you is biology, are you still you? We've only replaced one plank of wood.
Well, that depends again if we decided what are the premise that we will say is characteristic for deciding this is it. And I mean,
So that's the
uh,
question. And I mean,
if
what
yeah,
I'm kind of we could sit here and talk about this for 1,000 years. One of the main thing I'm trying to get at here is that in the equation with technology, it's more of a question on how we define ourselves and what we anchor our identities in. It's less about what physically happens. Doesn't matter if you have Neuralink. It doesn't matter if you have a prosthetic arm. It's a question of identity is about a question of attribution and on idea, what we want to call something. And in the context of that world, the only like the main thing that comes to my head right now is a video game, Deus Ex 2, basically the futuristic video game, and everyone, most people are cyborgs. There's now two races of humans. There's the cyborgs and the full humans, and for one, they're at war politically. Long, complicated story. And the reason, like the lore of the game, is the reason that split happens is because the augmented humans have different identities. They've given themselves. They no longer identify as human. And so they have different goals. Their goals no longer align with society. They don't care about family. They don't care about their parents. They don't care about having kids. They don't care about sex. They don't care about food. They stopped identifying as human. Um, that's what you want to call yourself after that, I think matters a lot less in the context of staying human, because the goal is not, are you a dog or a robot? It's, are you a human?
yeah, I mean that's also what the biomedical man is about. You know, the one with Robin Williams, where he is playing a robot that actually at some point wants to be a human. Like, why not? Why can I not be? It's almost like a Pinocchio kind of story. Um, and that kind of questions the whole thing about what you're asking here as well. Have you
So
seen it?
I feel like I haven't seen that, no, but that sounds like a cute movie. I love Robin Williams. Um, I feel like we just took the scenic route around not answering the question.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mean, I know it's not the easiest questions to, and it's a big
Yeah,
one as well. I mean, how do you try to
I
stay
mean,
human? And I mean, if I have to say something myself, just to give an example, uh, it is actually, for example, very simply trying to go in nature. You know, trying to go even more practical down in my body. Trying to be more present, you know, in the stuff that I do, because I tend to observe that the more, as you kind of put it as well, if you think more mechanically and you're more in your mind, I'm usually not here as much. I'm everywhere. I'm in the past. I'm in the future. I associate things, and you know, everything is just running. Um, so when I finally, also when you kind of said that with the briefing, when you focus on the breathing, that's also a physical sensation. So when you focus on the body, that was one of my aha moments with my degree in psychomotricity, where you work with the psyche and the motor, so the body and the mind dynamic. There's a lot of practice. It's a bachelor, so that means there's always a split, a shift between theory and practice
mhm.
constantly. So that's really nice because for me it was I was too much in my head before. I can see that now, and that education helped me to integrate that not just intellectually, but also physically.
Mhm.
And thereby I became more whole. I got the experience of having the whole thing with me. So body awareness, that was one of the key aha moments I got suddenly, was that because I was questioning at some point, why do we work so much about body awareness? What are you sensing in your body right now? How is it? How is it in your feet? Blah blah
Mm.
blah. What's the
Yeah.
point? Well, if you see your senses, um, your physical senses has the present, and your thoughts has the past, and again, if you have to put a little bit spiritual spin to it, the soul is your future. Then you can kind of imagine this timeline that every time you need to come back, you need to come home to yourself. That's where your body can help you. That's where it can be a container and a room and a home, hopefully, a house, for you to actually storage and contain right
Mhm.
now, the moment.
I mean, the main
Because that's the other thing. Yeah, go on.
the main thing most people need is someone to hold space, hold space so that they can have the experiences they need to have to
Exactly.
grow and evolve. Really the biggest part.
Exactly. And if you have hard time to do that for yourself, it's hard for you to contain certain things, emotions and experience and whatnot. That's where I can see that another key answer to, again, the question why I work so much with body awareness. Well, the more you strengthen your body awareness through your nervous system and you're sensing all your body sensations, the easier it is to actually sense the stress signals
Mhm.
before they're starting to get alarming. Because when they're starting to get alarming, that means that they have been ringing for a long time and you
Exactly.
haven't listened,
Yep.
or you did maybe listen, but you didn't take action, you
Yep.
didn't take care of your home. So now your body takes action and shuts you down, the whole operation, depression, burnout, whatnot, because it can actually also take care of itself if it have to. But it gives you the chance to co-create with it as you move along in life. But the body will always kind of have the
Body
last
keeps score.
word.
The body knows. The body is the track record of our thoughts. Yeah.
It really is. So, yeah, yeah. So that was another answer. Like, so the more you strengthen your body awareness, your nervous system, your phone, your inner phone, um,
Quicker you
the more
are, the quicker you
clear.
are to hear the signal. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
but
fire
also,
alarm triggering doesn't mean that the fire is about to start. The fire alarm
yeah,
means that there's a fire.
yeah, exactly. And another thing why, and a more pleasant answer to like why I work so much with body awareness, well, the more present you can be, and the more, again, the physical sensations can be taken in, the more clear memories you'll be able to create. And those memories you'll be able to reminisce easier and clear, even 20 years from now on. Because you
Mhm.
were there to receive everything and to store it and process all this sensory data. But I know also that there are certain memories where I could see, yeah, there's only small snippets where I can kind of guess, yeah, I was thinking too much, or I was a little bit unnerving. So I was a little bit more in my head and thinking, and again, out of myself. So I was not fully there to actually take the whole experiencing in its total form.
Mhm.
Um, but that's where I can see, for example, nature can helps me to ground me, go to the beach. So
Or
where there's some big water, it helps to simply come back home.
there's it's funny, this is now the second time you've mentioned water, and the horizon is a trick for inducing those states. Because when you look at a landscape like that, your eyes naturally relax, your gaze softens, so that rather than focusing on what's directly in front of you, you can see the whole vision. And for that, your eyes need to relax. And when your eyes relax like that, everything gets a little bit easier.
Nice. That's a good point. So yeah, it was just to come some example because I know it is kind of a big question. Like, yeah, how to stay human? It even sounds a little bit corny, but I mean, it's just
I
yeah,
even
I can just see
I
that. Why
know
not?
I even know how, like, as someone who might be struggling with that, I understand how flippant it might sound to say go for a walk. It
Yeah,
sounds so simple. People, like, I feel, are ready to dismiss the simple things because it just sounds too easy. But really, it's a lot of things aren't that hard. If a lot of the if you hate everyone around you, eat something. If you hate yourself, take a shower. If you can't get out of your head, write. If you can't get into your head, read. Like, we're simple creatures with complex reasoning around why our experiences are the way that they are. For a lot of people, the answer really is as simple as just go walk around for an hour without your phone in your pocket. It doesn't need to be complicated.
but that can be hard for some people, right? Because
Yeah.
suddenly they got adjusted, and their body too. That it almost feel like there's a phone in my pocket, but there
Yeah.
isn't. It almost feel like something vibrating in my pocket, but there isn't. But because it used to and it's always on, normally the nervous system is kind of got used to that. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's actually a very simple but very
I said it's simple, not that
useful
it's easy.
exercise.
It's
Yeah,
simple. It's not
exactly,
easy. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And that's actually another thing to try to be aware of and observe that usually the things that what you just said that tends to easily get rejected because oh that's too simple, I'm not going to do that, then that means it comes from the brain because the brain has the tendency to always try to overcomplicate things, hasn't it? So the more simple things actually get and the more you actually just, I mean that's actually what I often have experienced with my clients since I work so much with the physical exercises as well, is exactly for that purpose. Because often the reaction will be, ah, is that just it? Oh yeah,
Huh.
and they start to feel the effect. Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay, because they were making this big thing like, no, I mean I don't have time for the whole physical stuff and
Yeah.
massages and whatnot. No, I need to book a 2 hours massage, but I don't have time for that. So yeah, it's not going to be anytime soon. So
And
when
then
I then show
they
them
wonder why they keep having the problem.
exactly, so when I then show them like stuff that they maybe can do that only takes like certain self massage techniques that only takes maybe 3 or 5 minutes, where you can actually still feel an effect after just so little time, that's usually when they feel like, oh yeah, okay, it can actually be just as simple and just as little time, but still actually have an effect. Okay, because that's really the point, isn't it? That often habits is simply just choosing it again and again and again. Like in the recovery movement, that's actually the main purpose when I often say or ask the person who has a drinking problem, can you just decide to not drink today? Yeah, yeah, but what about tomorrow? No, no. Can you just decide not to drink today? Yeah, yeah, I guess I can do that. But what about tomorrow? Yeah, yeah, but only for today. And then tomorrow it will be the same, right? Can you just decide not to drink for today? So yeah, even though it sounds again very simple, but again, we choose every day certain habits
Yeah.
and behavior patterns. Um, we can do it with many stuff. But where,
Well,
where, where did you start? And what helped you to get started when it comes to like improving your health and working on your health?
uh,
Were there certain practice?
that got me to want to, or
Yeah, or a book or video or a personal conversation that kind of
um,
made you like, okay, I
when it
guess I can
comes
start
to
with that.
when it comes to my body, I'm now 31 years old, so I'm an old man. My my
Yeah,
body
me
is
too.
like my I slept in an uncomfortable bed last December, and my shoulder has hurt for the past 10 months. Uh, and what's funny, you know what really made it feel so much better? Just 10 doing 10 flies. That's it. Just 10 raises like this with the weight. And a year of pain like disappeared after I lifted a weight 10 times. So that definitely, here's your case in point. Yeah. Experiences like that definitely help. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest, the simplest but most impactful experience anyone can have is just one small interaction, like a lived experience with their desired state. You have just, if you drink the water once, you can't unsee it. It's just like Bitcoin. Once you understand how this works, you can't unlearn it.
Yeah, yeah. You have to become aware of what is going on.
You said
Otherwise, you
yourself,
can't change it. Or
it's
yeah,
repetition. I mean, we need to like
yeah,
giving ourselves that lived experience is the motivation because it feels really good and we want to do it again. So we're just hijacking those dopamine networks, but for a positive outcome. Um, I
yeah.
forgot what I was going to say. There were more steps to that plan, but I forgot what they were.
Maybe we'll return. What did you wish you knew when it came to taking care of yourself?
Hmm. Um, I mean, I guess I could say start sooner. But
Yeah.
I always knew that.
What do you mean about that? That you kind of always knew that?
Well, that you shouldn't wait until the alarms are going off to make sure the kitchen's not on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
So were there signs that you actually noticed early on, but
Not
you
really.
neglected? Not really. Okay.
No, I mean, I know what the ideal is, and I know the entire process. I know that the journey is not even about reaching that ideal state, it's about the process of getting there. I know that. Um, it's just a question of like, am I doing it? Like I was at a state, nothing was terribly wrong. I'm not, I wasn't, no, I don't feel like I'm on that bad of a path where if I continue like this, it's irreversibly damaged. I gotta quit smoking. Okay, that's one big thing. But then everything else, like I eat well, I exercise regularly, I need to work on my sleep schedule. Um, but that's really it. So there's nothing that I like. Just start engaging in that process sooner. That's it. The sooner you do it, the better it'll be. That's all.
I see. Yeah, because what would you say that has been one of your worst health secrets, and how did you change it, if you did?
Uh, it's not a secret, but I still smoke. Starting when I was 18, I frankly didn't want to quit. I started dating this girl not long ago, and she wants me. She used to be a professional athlete, so she's very serious about it. She wants a family. She wants kids, which means she wants me to live forever. So
Spoiler.
which I guess implies drinking less beer, not smoking every either taking care of myself, ensuring that I actually get to 90 years old in functional state.
I see. And what would you
Uh,
say that is? Yeah, go on.
yeah, no, so that's the secret, just weaning myself off cigarettes. I've spent years just kind of like rationalizing the simple. I stopped buying pre-rolled cigarettes and started just buying like organic loose tobacco, and then rolling it with unbleached paper and just a cotton filter. Because frankly, the tobacco society we've been smoking for millennia, like truly for 10,000 years we've been smoking tobacco. Um, but it's like it's the bleach in the paper, and I noticed even physiologically I felt better. Like when I was still buying like a pack of cigarettes from the store, I was skinny and I was pale and I looked sick all the time.
Hmm.
I was smoking bleach. Of course, I looked sick.
But
So
now but now you said like that you wanted to stop
uh,
smoking. What
yeah,
was the trigger that was that from your girlfriend? You said that
yeah, yeah. I
that
just
changed the thing,
yeah,
right?
doing it for somebody else is often a lot easier than doing it for ourselves.
Yeah. And in that goal of trying to live long, then to have kids and whatnot, I always say that it's one of your best health secrets. And how did you discover it?
My best. I have excellent blood pressure. Despite
Okay.
despite I like eating bacon. I like hamburger. I like greasy food. I like beer, and I like tobacco. And I have great blood pressure. Um, I'm calm most of the time. Like regulating my blood sugar is everything for me. Like I'm a completely different person when I wake up compared to right after I eat something. So that's definitely the best secret was like make sure I've eaten something before I interact with people. Otherwise, I'm not going to be very pleasant. Um, that helps me kind of stay calm in stressful situations. Like I grew up in a bit of a chaotic environment, so at some point learned how to kind of manage that to a degree where things don't necessarily stress me out. Like everything could be going wrong, and like it's okay. I know myself. I trust myself. I can figure it out. I will figure it out. Stressing myself out is not going to help anything. So definitely, that's definitely the secret. It takes a lot to really stress me out. Unless I haven't had breakfast, then be careful. Yeah.
That's a good point. So you have a lot of self-observation of like, okay, you know yourself, what
I
you
feel
need to
like
be aware
this.
of.
Yeah, I feel there's a good chance that the world is not against me and that I'm hungry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see. Are there then certain things that you have automated in your life that improve your life for the better?
What
What
do
way
you
does
mean
it
by that?
express?
What do you
So, for
mean by
example, yeah, I added this question because I was actually doing a conversation where I felt like that was actually a really interesting question,
that?
and I started to see that in my own life that I had automated certain stuff. For example, my breakfast is this German meal replacement thing that is organic and vegan and whatnot. But it has like vitamins and minerals and all that. I really want to make a partnership with them because I feel like I've been drinking this for like freaking 4 or 5 years, but I don't really have a big audience yet. But when I do, I just feel like this is the most genuine partnership proposal ever, because I'm
Quick,
drinking every
everybody, leave
day,
some comments.
and leave some leave some goddamn comments. Hit the like, subscribe before we go to the moon and back. Uh, no, but I'm just saying, like, I haven't been tired of it. I've been drinking for, yeah, I think it's 5 years now
Hmm,
as my breakfast. So that's something that I've
hmm.
automated. Another
Okay.
thing I've automated is like actually these wool shirts. I've been wearing wool, 100% merino wool shirts, actually from an American, I think they're from Portland,
Hmm.
Wool Prince. Also a company that I've been using since what, 2017, I think I tracked back to. And I was like, damn. I slowly changed my entire wardrobe to that
Hmm.
as well because suddenly the few things that I have left that is
Yeah,
not wool, I noticed that my body doesn't breathe easily. And yeah, there's just so much more benefit to it.
of
So that's
course.
another thing that kind of automated. And I could just see that, okay, sometimes small things that you really like and you tend up to suddenly just take for granted that I don't
Hmm.
know if that's automated. I just use it in my life. Yeah, yeah. But
So
at some
that's yeah.
point, you decided like I'm liking this so much now that, for example, maybe you can relate to this as well. At some point, as you get older, you're starting to have certain preference when it comes to underwear, brand, pants,
Yep,
textile, and
yep. We
I
find what
already
works
have
for
that.
us and go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm now a little bit curious when I talk to people like, what is something you have automated in your life that actually you're really happy about that actually really works in your life and
So,
support your life?
for me, it's food related. A lot of things come back to food for me. Um,
Nice.
so breakfast is automated. Scrambled eggs, toast, tomatoes. Maybe if there's something random in the fridge, I'll throw that in there. But I know I need to eat. Even if I wake up and I'm not that hungry, I don't perform well if I don't eat. Uh, and that's always such a product. It doesn't need to be a production. There's no like I have to open the fridge and figure out what to do, and otherwise I'm just gonna have some snack and I'm gonna feel terrible anyways. So eggs, scrambled eggs, or however I feel that day, some toast. Just try and hit hit what I need to know that I'm going to be fine until 6 p.m. without eating so much that I'm going to be exhausted for the rest of the day, because that's the other side of it. And then to some degree, dinner. Like I feel like, no, eating holds a really special, like food holds a special part in to humanity, broadly speaking. And dinner is about so much more than just the food itself. So I try to be mindful of automating too much of that. Otherwise, we're going to go back to what we were talking about before, where like I'm forgetting my humanity. I've lost my humanity to the technology of Uber Eats or something.
Yeah,
uh, but to sound
good
like,
point.
unless I'm trying to make dinner an occasion and I want to do something special, I automated that as well. I have it's a neat little system. A lot of people say, "Well, don't you get bored of eating the same thing?" No, because I know exactly how to make it slightly different every day. That's it. It's the
That's a nice
same
one.
chicken, like protein, starch, vegetables. Just those three
Right.
things, and then whatever sauce you want. You want French style protein, veg, starch? Do French, do Italian, do Thai, do Japanese, do American, do Portuguese. But there's the base right there. So my spice cabinet is lovely, and my fridge is pretty simple.
That's pretty cool. That's a nice advice. I feel like that was a unique little twist.
Yeah.
Um, what is one of your role models, and in what way is this person a role model in your life? Is there certain areas where, okay, this
Um,
person,
I haven't really had a role model in that sense in a long time. At some point, in part because of my studies as well, and like, but my philosophy degree was just 4 years of, well, okay, fine, it was like 2 years of the basis and logic, and then 2 years of like critically analyzing the concept of a good life. Like, what does it mean to live a good life, to be happy? Because that's my goal at the end. I want to be a happy human. So that's and at some point, that notion of a role model kind of fell away, because the only way to really be happy as a human is to live your life, not to live somebody else's life. And yes, of course, it could be useful to have someone that models particular characteristics for you that you might want more of and learn from that person, sure. But at the end of the day, don't model yourself to them. Incorporate what it is you like and model yourself. Be your own role model. Become the person you want to be. Define who that is and make it automate the habit of acting like that person. These things are like generosity is a habit. Generosity is not a decision. How much you tip at a restaurant, if you tip at a restaurant, it's a habit. We don't really think, unless we have an extraordinary or a terrible experience, we don't think about it. We just have whatever number in our head that we randomly decided one day that this is the number I'm going to leave from now on everywhere I go. We've set that bar for ourselves. Uh, yeah, I don't really have a role model in that sense. I mean, there's people I like if you're interested in that. But yeah, no, I mean, become your own role model. Figure out who you want to
it
be
could
in.
be, but it could be many things. It doesn't even have to be people that exist in real life.
Hmm.
I mean, for example, I can see that I, from time to time, had certain comic book
Hmm.
characters, just because of the vibe and the whole, attitude that they maybe have, or
Yeah,
like their willingness to explore and not think so much and actually do things. But it can, of course, also be real people. For example, Walt Disney was a great inspiration for me in the sense when it comes to creativity. Um, he was told as a
hmm.
draw cartoon artist that he was not able to. He didn't have any creativity. He was told actually by his editor,
Hmm.
and he's probably not going to be much in the future.
No one remembers his
Um,
name.
no, no, but his
Yeah.
legacy, damn.
Oh
Funny
no,
fact, actually.
I meant the critic. But
Did you know? Fun fact. Did you know that Walt Disney? Where did he get the idea for Walt Disneyland or Disneyland?
I'm not sure.
Denmark,
Why Denmark?
Copenhagen, Tivoli. So the amusement park that is like fixed in Copenhagen, that's called Tivoli, where there's like an amusement park, like with the roller coasters and whatnot. That whole thing inspired him to like, I would like to go home and build something like this.
Hmm.
and he did. And he was also at the time a little bit bored because he finally made, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarf, made
Hmm.
something that was completely new at the time. Usually cartoons were only like 5 minutes and black and white, and not really that quality built.
Yeah.
Suddenly there was as a full length movie, 1.5 hour movie, fully color and very detailed, and it was very touching. People were crying in the cinema and whatnot. That was never seen before. But then after that, with the whole Pinocchio and Bambi and so on, they were all great movies as well. But it was the same thing, wasn't it? So he kind of needed a new project, and that ended up being the Disneyland he's starting to build. Anyway, that's a different podcast, I guess.
You got
But it's
bored of
just to
the
give you an idea.
theme
It's not
park.
like I want to be Walt Disney, but I do see that there was certain, like you said, you take something that you maybe found inspiring, or like that little part, I can try to adapt to my own. Um,
Of course.
what area around your health are you still working on, and you want to ask the next guest about?
You know what? I've been thinking about this since you sent me these questions. I don't know. There's not my I haven't been very focused on my health with that level of depth lately. I know what I need. I know what I need to change. I know how to change it, and I know that I just need to put in the reps and do the work. And it's really just that simple for me.
That's
I
okay.
really don't know.
It can also just be a general, like any question you would like to ask other people who are mainly in tech, Web3 most likely, that is going to be here that you would like to ask anything about.
I would love to know what they would find to be of greatest benefit to their perceived quality of life. How good or bad do they think they have it? And what are the dials? What levers make changes positive or negative for that person?
Okay.
You can also add, I guess, like what for people who have had more clarity in that direction, what challenges were common for them?
Okay. Yeah. What challenges were common for them? Okay. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah. Um, are there like a one tool, exercise, movie, book, app, quote
Uh,
that you like to share
that
that you
I
maybe often
love.
come back to?
I
Yeah.
love to share Alan Watts. There's there's a million, there's so much information going around these days. Me personally, Alan Watts. Uh, you can find any of his lectures on YouTube. I'm sure there's some secret repository from the Harvard University with unreleased lectures, but yeah, just listen to whenever you're uh, not feeling great about the human experience, just pull up literally any Alan Watts lecture on YouTube and listen to it.
Yeah, there is a lot, but yeah, he also has a kind of soothing voice as well. It's very
That's a big part
interesting
of
to
it
listen
too,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. That's a good point. If people want to reach out to you and interact with you, are you open to that? And if you are, what the preferred communication
Yeah,
format do
definitely
you
open
like?
to it. I get my email, my LinkedIn, my website will all be in the description of this video. Either one, whichever one someone prefers the best, pick that one and say hi.
Awesome. And do you have any question or topic you would like to ask? And like as a do we miss something here or
Oh,
something you're
I see.
more curious about?
We have no hope of covering everything. Um, uh, what was? We were talking, what was the question just before the ship of Theseus? This might be, might require some video editing, but that conversation we were having before I got to that thought experiment. Um,
I think that was like how to stay human in tech.
yeah, it was, yes. So how to stay human in tech and that whole conversation about preserving your humanity. Otherwise, a lot of people unwittingly put themselves in a situation where they have everything they've ever wanted and they're still miserable. Or they're still clocked in 24 hours a day and they don't actually enjoy any of the benefits of working as hard as they do. Yeah, we could talk a lot about that.
Yeah,
There's a whole space, not a simple answer either. There's not just like one camp of people. Like that problem it exists all the way from like I don't want to say minimal, but like very subtle discontent, where like you're kind of you're living for the weekend or you're living for retirement, and the meaning of your life is getting to some future time. That is a surefire path to misery. Making sure you can only ever be happy in the future, you're going to be miserable every day of your life. Um, and so that's the subtle end, all the way to the obvious end of I'm ready to change my name and go live on a beach in Costa, wherever on earth. I'm gonna go live, start a new life as a hermit on the beach. Uh, so there's that whole. Those are kind of I think the two extreme ends, and everybody else exists somewhere in the middle of that, and we could talk about all of those people all day.
yeah. I mean, we can always make a part two at some
Yeah.
point. But
The
as
next
a
5 episodes are just you and me.
just go full Rogan style on it. What is a human? You can't contain the container, man.
I hold on. I need a break. I have to go smoke the bong. I'll be right back.
But I mean, I really think that you came with a lot of interesting perspective and yeah, pictures. And that's also kind of what I have observed so far, that the different guests I've so on I have had on. It's really interesting stuff, because it is kind of trying to unfold what is this whole tech related environment, and how does it affect people? What is people, as you kind of also talking about? What is human? How do we preserve it? What should we preserve? Is it even worth preserving in what we kind of got keep getting sold, that is
Mhm.
so smart and techy in the future and leave everything behind, kind of attitude? Is that a good thing? What should we leave behind, maybe? Or can we merge it? You know? But definitely, yeah, with the part, what you're saying, like, what is even the conception of human? I mean,
We all have
I
this
even
vague
have a hard
agreement.
time. What?
We all have this vague agreement, but that's
Yeah, but it is kind of a vague agreement, and it's still also like an 8 billion perception of that, right? Because even though we might think that we have an agreement, like, okay, that's what it is, then it can still be two different perception of what we thought we got to an agreement. But
yeah,
actually, it's different if we actually zoomed in to each perception. Oh, you're actually seeing it different anyway, still, even though we came to agreement that it was this. Like, I remember from my study, there was like an example exactly of this, of like people who are talking about, oh, you have a dog, okay, it's this kind of dog, okay, oh, it's like a little dog, oh, okay, oh, it's black and white dog, oh, okay. And then you actually see the two pictures in each person's head,
yeah.
as a bubble, as a thought, and you can see it is slightly two different dogs still, even though it sounds like they really have come down to like, so this is the dog. We most likely have the same picture of the same dog now. Nope. So, what would you say if you have to say like one thing that, because again, it is really a big topic, but like, what is, as a being a human to you, what is like one characteristic or one like tangible element that you would say, yeah, that is probably part of being a human?
Food,
Um,
food, sustenance, keeping the machine running. Whether we're 100% human or 100% robot, keeping the machine running.
okay.
The desire,
Yeah,
the
that's a good one too.
instinct
I
for
would actually say,
self-preservation.
oh,
Well,
sorry.
the instinct from self for like there is not one, you know. There's a lot like the instinct for self-preservation is a very big one, but squirrels have that. We can robot. There's an art installation of a robot with a big arm and a broom, and the robot is bleeding oil. And the squeegee on the end of the arm is to sweep the oil back into the machine. The oil is the machine's blood. Without the oil, the machine turns off. The machine's entire existence is to stop itself from dying.
Hmm.
There is no purpose to that machine's existence besides staying alive, and it's sad. It's very it's a depressing, but it's a metaphor because we lose oil all the time, and we can never get back all of the oil, no matter how hard we try. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I think if I had to say one, uh, this is actually a thing that even AI has a hard time to grasp and even play with. Um, Irony.
Hmm.
Even when I worked at a dementia center, when people were often off, like a cloud, something clouding their mind, and the disease is impacting them, influencing them. Sometimes there could be a light of moment of clarity, and you could see the person again comes to life. I often notice that this sense of irony or humor tend to be a significant signal that, oh, Earl is back.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I
And
like it. Cool.
yeah, and I really, it's also kind of, I guess, because it is a big value for me in my life. Not take things like, I often meet with this associate, he's from Austria, but then he started this thing that we now keep saying to each other if we're starting to be too serious. He started to say, like, oh, Daniel, stop being so German.
Yeah.
Because that tends to be a little bit more robotic and mechanic and
Oh,
systematic.
strict, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Even the accent, right? Stop being so German. You have to be focused. Get to the job or get the work done. Be efficient.
Sort your trash. Sort your trash.
Stop wasting your time. Get to the job.
Well, this has been very nice. I don't hate you. Maybe we should do this again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that was a good thing to have included. Do you have any thing you want to say or ask, or any last words?
Stick with
Not in the
last word.
physical sense. It's not a threat.
Not my last word. My cat's last word. No, we're
What's
fine.
your last meal? No.
Well, that's a great question. I would let's answer. I'll share my last meal. Everyone in the comments, share your last meal because to me, that's the meaning of life is being able to enjoy all of the pleasantries that life has to offer. We've been gifted these senses, and to ignore their faculties, why? What's the point? Enjoy the beautiful things life has given you. So my last meal would be pigeon pigeon leg in the
Pigeon.
French style. Pigeon leg, yes. So the French love to cook. I would give myself a little tour around the world of cuisines as my last meal. I have a big stomach. I can eat a lot. I would. My last meal is a lot.
A lot of pigeon legs.
Yeah, so it's a French delicacy, and a pigeon is such a well. I mean, when they're raised properly, I'm not them going outside and catching a pigeon.
Right.
But that species of bird is so tender, and it's just the right amount of gamey for me.
Okay.
And the French love to cook everything in butter, and so you have a butter and a fruit demi-glace with for the pigeon with some carrots and some tomatoes, roasted, delicious. Have that. I'd want just a large pepperoni pizza because it's satiating. It's tickling some primordial childhood memory of mine. I love pepperoni pizza.
It's just to
Uh,
see that picture, like you're on your death sentence and you get a large pepperoni pizza and some pigeon
I'm
legs.
not done yet. Look, I haven't even gotten to the 50 pieces
Okay,
of
okay,
sushi.
sorry. Okay, I'll keep you. Yeah.
All right, we'll try to keep. I'll try to keep this portion of the podcast under 2 hours. Thank you, everyone.
We'll be back after these commercial breaks. Stay tuned.
No, I'll save the audience. I would want like just my favorite dish from every regional cuisine I've ever had. I'd want all. I'd want a bunch of sushi and pizza and burger and pigeon. I want some fresh seafood. I'm allergic to shrimp, but it's delicious. So if I'm about to go, give me a ton of shrimp. I want crab legs. I'll give me caviar. Give me oysters. Give me Thai food. Oh, please give me Thai food. I want cow soy. I want green curry. I want just fried pork. Yeah, I want food. I'm a little hungry
Damn.
if you can't tell. But
Yeah, we have to end it soon, I guess, because
all right, all
damn,
right.
that's a lot of food.
Let's leave it there. I hope I've left everyone on a good note. Enjoy
But don't you
enjoy the
really?
miracle of life. Enjoy
You
the
don't have
beauty.
like one dish that you kind of like more in particular, if you had to choose one? I'm just curious.
I've never been able to get it down to one. I have two.
Ah, really? You have
Yeah,
two?
I've
Okay,
got
what's the
two.
two then?
Pepperoni pizza and
And
uh,
pigeon legs.
Thai green curry.
Okay.
Pepperoni pizza and Thai green curry.
Ah, nice.
It's basic. It fills my soul with joy. Yeah.
Nice. And I think if I had to say mine, it would be a certain particular smoked fish
Mm.
in from Denmark. But the problem is like, yeah, imagine that, Yeah, you're gonna die today.
Give me
Yeah,
crumblocks. Yeah.
the kitchen is going to survey your food today. So it's ready in 48 house.
That's a
I
good way
mean,
to
that's
deliver
kind
the
of
sentence. Yeah.
that's kind of a problem, because I think the smoke houses is also take some time. So, but yeah, but smoked fish, like damn, and they don't really have it here in Portugal for some reason.
No.
Um,
Is it a particular what is the fish?
it's not actually the fish that's the problem. It's more like that they don't smoke.
I
They don't have
I'm
they don't use smoke houses in the same way that they do in Denmark,
yeah,
and it
I
just the
understand.
intensity. Have you tried smoked fish, like freshly smoked fish, salmon or whatever?
Freshly
It's
smoked? No.
smoky. It enhances the taste of the fish, whatever it is, by
Hmm.
tenfold,
Hmm.
and it's just the whole experience, both like the tasting, the texture. It gets a little bit more crispy as well because it gets smoked.
Mhm.
But it's not really like grilled. It's still kind of raw, but it's still kind of prepared. It's like
Yeah,
I really
it's
recommend
cooked.
it.
Yeah.
It's cooked, smoke cooked. Yeah, it sounds like something from the Snoop Dogg would have made.
As long as the parasites are dead. It is also
Yeah,
something
true.
Snoop Dogg would have made.
True. But yeah, awesome to have you on, Paul. And remember, your Calendly link is going to be below. So book a clarity call is free. And if you like this man's company, you're most likely also going to enjoy his conversation with you. I surely did. And yeah, stay human.
Like, comment,
Thank you
and
for coming.
subscribe to see more.
Yeah. And oh yeah, by the way, do you have a YouTube channel or anything where people should follow you or um,
LinkedIn and Twitter. I gotta get better at being more active on the social media. LinkedIn and Twitter. Uh,
okay.
if you keep up with me on LinkedIn and Twitter, everything I make in the future, you'll have access to.
Okay, awesome. And otherwise, there's on your website certain articles as well, if people want to read that.
Yeah, yeah. You can explore. I can give you the direct link, but if you go to my website and you just click around, you'll find it right in the top
Okay,
bar. Button called Philosophies. Click that,
okay,
you'll see philosophies.
awesome. And again, if you're in crypto, I'm a crypto therapist. You can also my Calendly link will probably also be below then. But
If you
yeah,
if you're in this industry and you're not doing anything to stay human, you need to start, or it's gonna come back to bite you.
exactly. So
All the
either
money in the world is worthless if you're miserable.
yeah, so either meditation or some other physical exercises. Do something. Stay human.
Mind and body, do everything. But
Yeah. Take care, man.
all right, see you. Pleasure as always, Daniel.
Bye. You too. Joyful Danish. Stay human. Is it even still possible to stay human, maybe it's not too late.